Okay, yeah, so I wanted to make this video before the peak of the configuration, which was yesterday. Neptune and Pluto in retrograde 4 degrees. However, I wanted to wait until the peak to make this video because somebody was asking me, what does Neptune being by Saturn, what does it mean? And I wanted to hold out until this peak. Now I'm going to say some things that people may or may not agree with. So Saturn is, of course, what people are going to tell you is a planet of restriction, of karma, of time, of discipline. Yes, that's what Saturn represents, but Saturn also represents like the establishment of like institutions and all that in the governments, right? Now, what people are going to say Neptune is about, which they're going to say it's about dreams, illusions, isolation, which is all true, by the way. But some key difference is these two planets, or I'm sorry, just Neptune and Pluto. Pluto, don't forget Pluto, still in the configuration. These are, Neptune is retrograde in 4 degrees, which would be a Cancer degree, so there's moon energy. Then also Pluto is in 4 degrees, in retrograde as well, so they shall share a commonality. Now, what does Saturn being by Neptune mean? So Saturn, like I said, is the establishment, it's discipline, it's karma, it's time, father time, right? The old god of the old world, so to speak, and I use that very loosely, by the way. Now, for Neptune, also both signs are in Aries, so Neptune is dreams, illusion, isolation, yes, but also the prison. It could be represented prison without or the prison within, and also the Neptune likes to dissolve things, right? So if it's next to Saturn, which is the establishment, the government, it's slowly dissolving those structures that were put in place. Now, I am watching my words very carefully, however, because I know that dissolving can look like traumatic times for some people. Everyone is feeling it, I'm not just putting it out here. Everyone is experiencing their own hardships in their own way. It's because those structures put in place is being dissolved to ask questions on how we can rebuild. What if we think this way? What if we do things this way, this certain way? It doesn't have to be like this. There does not have to be any struggle whatsoever. These are the questions of Neptune with Saturn there. So if you look at it from just the Greek pantheon side of things, so Saturn would be represented by the Titan Kronos, and then Neptune would be represented by Poseidon, the king of the sea. Okay, the sea goes over things and just kind of dissolves it, and then something new is birthed. Possibly new earthy materials, new islands, new ways of looking at the establishment. Time is being diluted as well, because remember, Saturn is time, and then Neptune is going to dissolve that time. That's why you can see some people saying time is speeding up and certain time is slowing down for them, because that's what it's doing. And yes, the talks of the whole CERN shutting down and the whole time making sense, and what we said about Mandela effects and stuff are making sense, because this is the illusion over time. I'm not saying that it wasn't the collider, I'm not saying it wasn't the planets, I'm not saying it wasn't you, yourself, because that's the one mistake astrologers make. They look for outside forces, and the planets do have influences, but I look at them more like an amplifier on what's happening in yourself and in society. So back to the video, it's all dissolving those things, those material things, and it can look like the world is crashing and burning because of Aries, right? Aries is very aggression, like dissolving it now kind of thing. We don't need to do this anymore kind of thing. We just need to create action in these waters. And then of course in the basket that's holding the basket together, the part of it is Jupiter, which is Kronos' sun, which is Zeus, right? And then opposing Jupiter is Pluto, which is in Aquarius and retrograde in the 4th degree. All of these outer planets are in the 4th degree. That's why it's happening at home, or where you live, or like your community, right? Just what one calls home, what they're familiar with. Actually, it can be your little home as well. I heard of stories of people saying people are fighting as like normally in the home right now. But I digress. Let's get back to the video. So all these planets